Hey guys, it's Dion Napier with Amplify Vocal Studio, and if this is your first time joining my channel or seeing anything by me, I am a vocal coach as well as a life coach to singers, and my passion is to not only help singers build a reliable and versatile voice that can sing anything, but I also want to help you to identify, destroy, and dismantle those self-sabotaging and self-limiting beliefs that tear you down from the inside, okay? So if you come into Amplify Studio, you will experience a dual process of vocal training as well as mindset training and life coaching. All right, so today I want to talk to you about 5 ways to identify and destroy your self-limiting beliefs as singers. All right, so when I use the term self-limiting belief, what I'm talking about is a perception or an idea or a belief about yourself that really hinders you and holds you back from achieving all of what you're capable of achieving. So when I walk you through these 5 steps, I'm going to use an example from my own life of a self-limiting belief that I lived with for a long time regarding myself as a singer and how I broke through and what happened as a result of that. All right, so just stick with me. So I've got my notes here so I don't start rambling. So step number 1 is to identify the source of your self-limiting belief. So you want to ask yourself, where does this thought come from? Who told me this? Okay, so in my particular situation, I had a self-limiting belief that because I was a classically trained singer, my voice really didn't fit in any other genre. I was just going to be limited to only singing opera and classical music. That was my self-limiting belief, and it was jacked up because on the inside, I really wanted to sing other music. I had a desire, but I felt like I didn't know how to approach it and sing it authentically without it sounding classical, and so I backed off of a lot of opportunities and things that really could have opened up to me because I had that belief in my mind. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is identify the source. So when I think back to who told me that, in earlier years of my vocal training in academia, I had a teacher that told me, if you're gonna be serious about pursuing an opera career or a classical singing career, you need to come up out that gospel choir. Okay, so as a young singer developing my technique, I took my teacher's advice and I did that. I think for me also going through that academic system of training classically, there is this direct and indirect belief that if you sing other styles of music, you're gonna mess up your voice singing classical, so you just don't touch it. So that's really where that belief came from, being in academic environments and studying classical music only without exploring other genres. Okay, so that's where my belief came from. But you've got to decide for yourself, where does that self-limiting belief come from? Who told you that? Okay, and that leads us into step number 2. You want to determine if it is true or not. Usually self-limiting beliefs are straight up lies. They're not true at all. They just limit and hinder and block you, like I said, from achieving all that you're capable of. So in my particular situation, I had to think like, okay, my teacher told me to come out of the gospel choir to preserve my voice for a classical career. I was a very young singer. I did not have a solid technique at that time, and so she gave me that advice. And the truth is, that might have been true advice at that time, but years down the line, when my technique is solid, does that still apply? So I had to revisit that. And actually it didn't apply. The full truth is, just because someone is classically trained in technique does not mean they have to be limited to singing in classical style. You can have a classical technique and sing in all types of styles. That's the truth, and that's the truth that I found out. Okay, so you've got to determine for yourself what is the truth, okay, pertaining to that self-limiting thought that you may have. The third step is to break agreement with the lie. So when I say break agreement, I mean have another thought. Have a true thought. Choose not to agree with that anymore. So even in my process, okay, I began to say, you know what? That's not true. My voice can sing other music. I didn't grow up singing classical music or even listening to classical music. I grew up singing gospel in church. I grew up listening to jazz music. I grew up listening to contemporary and singing contemporary R&B. That was my makeup. It wasn't classical. So I started remembering that, and I was like, okay, if I could sing it back then, why can't I sing it now? The other thing that I did was I sought out a music industry coach that could affirm to me what it what was in my heart and the desire of my heart to really start singing in these other styles of music. So I sought out somebody. I drove 300 miles. I coached with this person. They helped me. They gave me a non-classical approach to singing commercial music, which I didn't get from academia. So this person gave me an approach, but I broke agreement with the lie, because once I got the tools and I started to remember how I was trained in music, it just didn't add up. Okay, so the same for you. Don't be opposed to investing and going to get a coach or getting someone that is doing the thing that you want to be doing musically, and get them to speak that to you and to affirm, either yes or no for whatever it is that you're deciding to do. And that will help you to break agreement with that self-limiting belief. Okay, step number 4 is to rehearse the truth daily. So once you decide that you're going to have another thought, you got to fill that space with the truth, because if you don't, that same old thought is going to keep coming up and choking you out of your potential and your future moving forward as a vocalist. So you have to rehearse the truth daily. So how that looked for me, I started back after I met with my industry coach. I started listening to music that I used to listen to as a child. I started listening to the contemporary R&B. I started to listen to the gospel choirs again. I just started to get that back in my ears. And then I began to apply the tools that she gave me so that I could approach that music in a way that sounded authentic and it didn't sound like everything was supposed to be on an opera stage, okay? So I applied those tools and I did a lot of mimicking. That helped me to get out of my mind. That helped to really break that lie, because the truth is, if you can mimic another singer, if you can match what they're doing, then that means that you have the ability to do it. So those were the 3 tools that I used to help me break through and to lay a foundation of truth. Like, just because you're classically trained does not mean your voice is limited to classical repertoire. Okay, so those are the practical steps that I took, and those are the same things you can do. Whatever rehearsing the truth looks like for you, if it looks like writing down an affirmation or a declaration, if it looks like for me, listening or just applying tools and techniques just to prove that thought wrong just by doing that opposite thing. Do whatever you got to do to break through, but those are the things that help me. The final thing, step number 5, is to celebrate, because after you do that, you will have successfully rewired your thinking, okay, about your voice. And so that was my experience once I started singing this music again, and I recorded myself and I listened to it. I had to get over that too, because a lot of us, we don't like to hear ourselves, but why? We have to dig into that. But I started listening to myself sing it, and after a while I was like, yeah, I can do this. I began to approach the music again with a can-do attitude, and now I will approach or try to sing anything, and I just don't care. I'll go for it. There are no limits in my mind, because that thought that I had while I was in academia, that thought has been rewired. It has been destroyed, uprooted, and rewired, okay? So the moral of the teaching is this: if you don't deal with your self-limiting beliefs, you will not be able to tap into the fullest potential that your voice is able to do. If I had maintained that thought that my voice could only fit into classical spaces, there would be a whole, group of singers that I would never be able to reach. So that self-limiting belief would have kept me in a small box when my voice is supposed to go out to many, okay? So that's the damage that a self-limiting belief can do. It can keep you from impacting and connecting with the people's lives that you are supposed to empower, to help transform, to encourage, okay? So it's vital that you deal with those self-limiting beliefs so that you can achieve all that's in you to achieve as a singer. I've also applied this as a mother. I've also applied this as a businesswoman. I mean, self-limiting beliefs can apply in all areas of our lives, but right now my target people that I am serving are singers, and so I want us to not just work on building the voice, singing and sounding good. That's great, but what are those thoughts that are eating away at you on the inside of you? What are those thoughts that are criticizing you? What are those thoughts, those perfectionistic tendencies that after you perform, you go behind, the stage and you're tearing yourself down and you're criticizing yourself? What are those things? I want to help you deal with that so you can create art that you love and you yourself can enjoy without any limiting thoughts. Okay, so I'm done. I hope this teaching was helpful. I hope this word was helpful on self-limiting beliefs. And if you are looking to be coached in this way with this dual process, dealing with the mindset, dealing with the self-limiting beliefs, as well as building a versatile voice that can sing anything, hit me up, comment below, send me a DM so I can see how I can help you. I would love to partner with you and help you to break through both personally as well as vocally. All right, that's it. You guys have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.